Well, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. It is another episode of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. There you go. A special shout out to Andrew's friend and one-time colleague, D. Stone, who we saw last night.
Yeah.
She said she might watch the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Now that she knows about it.
Right.
And
I'll
you know,
wait on that one. like D's going to take time out of her day to watch the podcast.
I know. Keefe got a chance to meet D. Stone last. It was my bad. I was under the assumption that you two had crossed paths before.
I've met her before, just briefly in passing.
All right.
Different events down at the Post or whatever. But
so it was nice to see. It was a great event at the Varner Foundation last night. We're going to get into all that. Really, we've had a pretty big weekend.
Yeah, it's been hustling and bustling.
But since we have the rare privilege of having Pappas join us for an actual podcast,
you know what?
It's been
busy. I was busy.
It's been like 6 months since.
By the way, thanks for the welcome back. Hey, welcome back. Nice to be back. Jesus Christ!
You had your chance for pleasantries.
You guys are just shitty.
Your chance for pleasantries.
I'm sorry.
You eschewed them the moment
serving others
that we laid eyes on each other last night.
I was serving others. Okay.
Last night?
No, all the time.
I don't know about
all the time.
That's what I do.
All right.
Some people serve. I served.
One of your former girlfriends might tend to differ with it.
I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, this is one of our all-time favorites. Here we go.
Kind of sore.
Listen up.
Oh, so you're telling me that back in the 1930s, my family fled from Germany to escape a Yahtzee regime and came to America
the Yahtzee
for
regime.
a better life.
Yeah, what's Yahtzee?
And now, not even 100 years later, I am trying to flee to Germany from America to escape that same Yahtzee regime.
The same one.
The same Yahtzee regime.
So
wait a second.
Yahtzee.
What does her shirt say? It says big heart.
You've affected her mind.
I think her
that
heart,
she's.
Well, that's a fucking big heart in there.
It's a big heart.
I'm sure it's enlarged,
and it's just in proportion to everything else. So,
she is now wary of a game where you roll 5 die, or is it 6?
I don't know. It's been a while.
And if they all come up, you say Yahtzee, because we know how terrible the Yahtzee regimes can be.
So she's moving to Germany. She's going to move to Germany.
By all means, knock yourself out.
I hope she understands the way. I mean the it's not easy to go to Germany. I think you have to have a job. I'm almost positive you have to have employment to go there.
Well, I mean, all the packing she has to do.
Oh my God, her clothes alone.
It's just
Jesus Christ.
All it is pounds of Haribo gummy bears.
Oh,
and Dr. Pepper.
2 seats and a seatbelt extension.
Well, and how do you transport that many cats from the United States?
To
Germany?
Even watching that video, I could smell what that apartment.
You could smell the
I
cats,
could smell that apartment.
I can't see my microphone. I'm kind of pissed off here. I can't see sorry, this over.
Sorry, you'll be fine.
It's all right.
So
Dan's back. I'm back, and the studio.
You always pick the smart ones, though.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
She was well. That nose thing. It was. It's. I used to play when she was asleep, and I take like a 9-volt battery and just touch that little nose ring.
As Eric Tansey calls it, nose trinket.
Shock her awake. So yeah.
I do want to give a.
What's going on? What are you?
Are you awake?
I do want to give a shout out to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. Like I said in the description, that is going to be kind of a mishmash of things, just because we have a ton to cover. I'm getting a request from Andrew's mother to minimize
my brother for my mother.
Correct, but
yes.
I'm paraphrasing, but minimize the F-bombs, which is.
That's a good idea.
Mama Pappas is probably not going to happen. I will try, but it's probably not going to happen.
Well, you'll try, and that's all that matters.
But I will give it my all.
So my brother's down and eating food. My brother doesn't eat he only eats on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He has this fasting deal. So he's down in Sarasota. Where did I say it was? Tarpon Springs. He's eating Greek food, so he's having a good time. And my parents are listening, and my dad just got back. My dad was in the hospital for a day, so I wanted to give a shout out to my pops.
Yes,
and
did not know that.
It wasn't. Turns out that it wasn't particularly serious, but at 90 years old, everything's serious.
Well,
And you know what else is serious? I'll tell you what else is serious. You want to know what's serious?
Oh, here we go.
I'll tell you what's serious. Falling off a ladder
Falling
is
from a high distance.
Oh yeah, Andrew had a little bit
and
of
surviving.
a setback.
No, it's not setback. I'm just saying it was an incident that happened today that you two schmucks would be in the hospital right now. I just hit the ground. I rolled over. I remembered my ninja training kicked in, and I rolled. And as I rolled, I came up, and I was like, I didn't even drop what I was holding, and I fell from the roof. Okay, there you go.
The garage roof.
No. Well, it was a roof, the front roof. It's not the garage roof.
Approximately how many
I was
feet
gonna
above
say,
the ground are we talking?
How
here?
high?
30.
30 feet.
Something. It felt like 30.
It felt.
It's
That's
probably-
the thing. It felt like.
It's probably closer to 8 or 9.
It looked like 30.
Well, Andrew, you are a man amongst men, as I said earlier.
I am.
You made it for the podcast.
You guys would have crawled
And
inside.
you should send her a letter of thanks to your landscaper for putting the mulch in.
Copious amounts of mulch.
That broke your fall.
It was like landing in a feather bed.
Michael,
here's
Michael
the
Pappas.
difference
Michael
between you
Pappas
and
said 9 feet.
Here's the difference
Thankfully,
between you and me.
I missed the ficus.
You talk about this like it's some sort of badge of honor.
It is.
Yeah, if I fell off the roof,
Oh, here we go.
there'd probably be some degree of embarrassment,
No.
and I wouldn't really want to talk about that.
Like you fell through the garage when you were working with your brother, and you told us 3 times before the show started.
Well, I landed on solid concrete.
Okay, you landed.
You were trying to say that had it been one of us,
you'd still be in the hospital.
no,
Jason would have had to come get you.
no. I got up and went back to work.
Well, so did I. I went back on the road.
And my wife can attest to the giant bruises on my backside.
Are they still there?
No, they're gone. They're healed.
I fell on a boat and broke 5 ribs. I went back to work 7 months later.
Well, let's.
We weren't doing a podcast then. I mean, yeah, I think you were actually still healing when we began the podcast. Were you not?
Not began. We were already doing the podcast. The podcast had
Were you
happening.
doing the podcast when that incident took place?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So anyway, it's good to be back. And yes, we had a. You know what? It was it's been a long week, but it was a really somber weekend, wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, Friday. For those that don't know, if you're out of the area, Friday we
covered it while you were gone.
Okay, but
just for your edification.
Edification. What does that mean? That's a big word.
Why don't you ask your girlfriend?
But anyway, were you guys out? Were you guys out on Beachmont Friday?
I was.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So I am.
Dano was
bright and
in
early.
one location. I was at another location. It was.
Dan, where were you?
I posted up at the Butterbees at the corner of Beachmont
Okay.
and Mount Carmel Tabasco Road, and was there when the procession came off Beachmont Avenue.
Off 275.
Or came onto Beachmont Avenue, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
and sat right there behind the Union Township Fire Department, where it was, I'll say, entertaining to watch them attempt to raise the flag and
Were they having trouble?
The thin blue line flag. I should have taken video of it,
They were having
but I have a lot more respect for those guys.
I don't know if they got there
Me too.
late because they might have had to run up, so they were a little bit.
Jason, where were you stationed?
I think they were behind the 8 ball a little bit, trying to get it done.
Yeah.
Jason, where were you?
Well, they had it up probably about 10 or 15 minutes
as soon as
before the
as soon as
procession
I
came
can
off
talk,
the highway.
As soon as I can talk, I'll tell you. Myself and my brothers from Squadron 318 from the American Legion Post for the Sons of the American Legion.
Oh, were you guys? I know where you're at.
We were right by Arthur's. Yeah, right, just a little bit further down.
Yeah,
and then we knew the government center or the District 5 and the fire department were. We knew that was going to just be absolutely packed. So spread it out, along Beachmont. So
I got to say, I was very pleased and proud of the turnout, at least here in Anderson Township. And, I know that a lot of people did go to the funeral. But I will say that I felt like Beachmont had a pretty good showing of people out there paying their respects. And it was nice to see.
Well,
Yeah.
Larry Henderson served the people of Anderson
He
Township.
did.
So.
Dan and I went to the visitation Friday. It was Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Yes.
And then I had every intention of making the funeral, but then by the time I was able to get out of, which we're going to throw out another thing after we talk about Larry, another big good thing. It's kind of apropos in the fact that one career unfortunately ended, but one has just begun, which we'll get into.
I saw that. Congrats, Dan.
But I wanted to play this. I know we talked about it, on the last podcast, but for anybody that's not from around here, but has any scruples, could understand and appreciate. So I wanted to play this.
Deputy Henderson. Deputy Henderson. Hamilton County to Deputy Henderson. No response from Deputy Henderson, badge 129. This is the last call for Deputy Larry Ray Henderson. Larry began his well-documented life of service when he joined the United States Marine Corps at the age of 18 and served his country for 4 years, from 1985 to 1989. He joined the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department in 1991 as a correctional officer and volunteered for the Sheriff's Honor Guard. Over the next 34 years, he went above and beyond to serve his community and coworkers through training and specialized units. In 1997, he moved to Road Patrol and served as an instructor and trainer in the academy and in-service courses. Larry also served as a member and leader of the dive team, DARE officer, SWAT team member, and member of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. With 23 years of active service, he was the longest-serving member of the Sheriff's Hazardous Devices Unit, or the BOMB team. Retiring in December 2024, Larry became a special deputy to continue serving his community at the University of Cincinnati and Mercy Anderson Hospital. He and his wife further dedicated themselves to service by fostering children. While both worked full-time, they poured their hearts into society's most vulnerable citizens, protecting them from abuse and abandonment. On Friday, May 2nd, 2025, Larry was working at a traffic control box, assisting pedestrians and ensuring that the graduates and their families could safely attend the ceremony at the University of Cincinnati. Larry's life of service and sacrifice came to a sudden and tragic end due to a senseless and intentional act on the law enforcement community. By inadvertently taking the place of another, Larry died a hero, and he will be forever missed by us all. Rest easy, Deputy Henderson. We'll take it from here. Relayed Hamilton County Communications, May 9th, 2025 at 14:07.
So, R.I.P. Larry. Like she said, we got it from here, but huge turnout for his untimely send off. But it was very impressive to see how, like Andrew said, Anderson supported, but the whole city. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. I saw a cruiser from Nebraska that somebody had drove in for, which, I mean, it's amazing. But sad day. Because we talked about it earlier, on the last episode, we got his final call. So I felt that was apropos to play.
No, I'm glad you played that. We did a moment of silence for Larry Henderson at the Dan Varner event last night, and those ceremonies and the way they do those things, they're amazing for me to watch, because they're at one time, they're both simple and intricate at the same time.
Mm-hmm. A lot of logistics.
When you view these things, it seems like the movements, the order of events, all these things that happen, doesn't seem like it's all that complicated. But when you look at the meaning and the way these people are doing these different things, it is very intricate and steeped in meaning and tradition. And I'm fascinated by watching the funerals like this, military funerals, and it's just the amount of honor and respect that's paid to those individuals. And listen to the list of things that he had done, and that's only just a cursory. I mean, she could have gone on for another 25 or 30 minutes,
right? Absolutely.
Talking about all the things, that he had done, and all the irons that he had in the fire, even after retiring and going back.
Dude, he was fostering kids at like 50-some years old.
Yeah,
which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So, just public service, but then also human service.
Yeah.
So, you guys saw the drives to support, that there's a couple foundations out there. There's one definitely out there that I shared on my Facebook. I think you guys shared it too. I'm not sure if you mentioned it. Do you know if you talked about it before?
Which one?
Well, I'll mention it here in a second, and then there's another group that's selling, and this is a national group, but you can buy, what do they call the memory bands? The end of shift, the
end of watch,
the end of watch bands. There's a company that's making those, and the proceeds go to the families. Now they make them for a lot of police departments and fire departments and all sorts of first responders that die in duty. And I'll get those links and we'll share them on our page here in a second. So if you want to, my point is that yes, I really am impressed by the turnout and especially here in Anderson, the people showing up, because this was a great guy. Dan said it. I mean, there's so many things that he did that make you feel almost inadequate. I mean, the guy just kept giving and giving and giving. And then, so if you have the means and you want to help support the family in any way, shape, or form, there is a proper way to do it. I don't know how you guys feel, but I get a little bit pissed off and I fly off the handle when I see a criminal commit a crime or whatever. And then like the guy that killed the insurance executive in New York. And then they set up a GoFundMe or
Luigi.
Luigi. And
that's a Mario.
And he and they set up, and people, hundreds of thousands of dollars come pouring in for this dirtbag, right? Yet here we are, and we have somebody that is truly something that society should emulate. And I would just hope people would take the time, good people that want to do the right thing, would take the time to support a person like that. And I'll share one, but the Laser Work, L-A-Z, workfoundation.com has a Larry Henderson Memorial bracelet that you can purchase. And I'll share the one. It's not a GoFundMe. It's just an organization that does help officers, the families of police officers that have died in the line of duty. It's the Shield.
Yeah, the Shield.
The Shield Ohio is what the name is. It's called theshieldOhio.com. And if you put in there, in the subject, you can donate, and it does support a lot of families. But if you put in there, it's for a specific officer that has passed away, they will make sure it gets to that family. And in this case, make sure you put Larry Henderson in there.
Yeah,
please.
So this weekend was bittersweet, obviously, very solemn, in the beginning, but then I had the pleasure of attending. So we had the end of watch for one, but the beginning of a watch for another, who Dano's boy Hassler.
Yeah.
He started today, 4 hours ago.
Hassler's made, I don't know, 3 or 4 appearances on the podcast since the beginning. And
so he graduated Cincinnati's Police Academy on Saturday morning.
7 months of training is now being put to the test as we speak. And he's in the middle of his very first shift as a sworn-in police officer. And I got to give credit to, I was sort of dreading the fact that I was going to listen to our mayor, Aftab Purval, give a speech. I was sort of dreading the fact that I was going to have to listen to the words of the city manager of Cincinnati.
Well, he's not our mayor, but
he's not our mayor, but
the mayor.
Yeah, he is the mayor.
Cincinnati's.
Yeah. But his speech was actually not bad.
He actually did very well.
It was better than I thought it was going to be. I think he was very mindful of the fact of what was happening that day, and that was the day that Larry Henderson was going to be laid to rest. So I can't help but think he was very mindful of that.
You know what he wasn't mindful of? The clock. He was 10 minutes late.
Oh yeah, he showed up late.
He was 10 minutes late for the graduation.
Yeah. The graduation started about 15 minutes late which
I thought was just disgusting. That part.
Yeah,
that's Bush League. It's Bush League.
I mean, there's no excuse for that.
But his speech actually was good, and he threw a little bit of levity into a it's a celebration for class 116. Yeah. But
maybe he was having a bad hair day and he needed to gel his hair some more.
Oh well, that could have been it.
I don't think there was any shortage of product in his hair.
His hair was on point. His hair was on point.
I'll put it this way: I've never seen the guy. I mean, you back me up on this. Anytime he's out in the public, the guy looks like he just stepped out of like a makeup booth, and he's got like skinny jeans on, and he's just ready for the cameras. Is that accurate?
If you want to think of a national figure who most closely resembles our mayor, and you tell me if I'm right about this.
Wait, go ahead. I know who you're thinking.
Is probably the governor of California.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom. I was going to say Gavin Newsom. He is Gavin Newsom.
They're
Old
pretty much
Gav.
cut from the same mold.
You're exactly right.
Gavin Newsom got into politics.
Actually, Falk around find out said hair on point. Does he look like Gavin Newscomb? Which she's in Cali.
But
so
they're essentially the same kind of guy.
They are cut from the same cloth. You're exactly right.
And I mean, and with from the time that Aftab Purval came on the political scene here, at least locally, he hasn't sought to do anything and to try to make his mark. He has sought to increase his name recognition. He sought to increase his political viability.
Right.
And he is looking for the next bigger office.
He's always been looking at that higher rung. He's always
absolutely.
Yeah.
So and we had another guy here in Cincinnati who was a couple of steps ahead of him, named PG Sittenfeld.
Where's he at now?
We like to call him Flippenfeld, or at least I do.
Where's PG at?
Well, he's not in politics anymore.
Yeah, but did he? Refresh my memory. Is he serving?
He's in jail. I think he's in jail.
I think he's been released.
He's been released?
I think he has.
I don't know. We got to look that up.
You have to look it up.
Well, here, speaking of public service, I got this one. You guys will love this.
All right, here we go. Should we make a display?
It's playing. Right. This is probably AI.
You must have done a lot of research.
Definitely. We looked all over the internet to find great websites.
Well, so how's your program going to work? I mean, where do you plan to do these exams?
Well, I think we're probably going to do them in my basement.
Well, it's not his basement's not really like a basement.
This
it has a carpet. And
it's got carpet.
Now, I've been told that the key to a good self-breast examination is making them a regular part of your normal routine, right? And that way you get to know your breasts and can recognize any changes.
It's the onion, so it's not.
I know.
But I understand you can also lie on your bed.
Yeah, definitely.
I am kind of worried about my own technique, though. Can you show us how to do a good breast exam?
Where did you find this?
You first, you kind of have to look around and feel for the lump.
I imagine you have to disrobe.
Yeah, and then you gotta feel for the bump if there is one. And in order to get our Eagle Scout.
I had to throw.
What was the badge? I want to see what the badge looked like.
Well, I was going to be the Eagle Scout, but I don't know what their actual badge would be.
Yeah, I want to see the individual badge. I want to see what it it looks like.
I knew we were starting out a little somber, so I had to throw something.
You lightened it up.
Well, the thing is, there's
good for them, though. Good for them.
Generally speaking, there's a way you can tell when something is fake news. There's a little thing at the bottom of your screen. It's called, in the TV business, it's called a bug.
Yeah.
And so on that one, you saw the one that had the rendering of an onion there, and which is from a website called The Onion, which is
parody,
the Babylon Bee. A lot of parody, a lot of funny stuff.
It is funny though.
It was clever. Does that video go? Was that the end of the video?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I wonder if it goes on to where she's, is getting ready for these kids to come feel her up.
Well, I didn't want to get kicked off YouTube if it went further. I just stopped.
So it is very funny, very clever. You can see.
Saw it. I saw it. I just started giggling. I'm like, well, this fits this podcast.
Yeah, so
totally.
that's pretty funny. The other way you can tell.
Good for you, young man. Good for you.
The other bug you can look for, and if you look at the bottom of your screen and you see the letters CNN. That is usually an indicator that there's some fake news going.
I'll say this. I don't travel too much, although I have been on a plane here. I don't. I usually drive. I don't fly.
But that's still traveling, dude.
No. Publicly, I mean. So my point is
airports.
So I was watching, because I had a 2.5 hour flight, and I was watching the people, and I was trying to, you could really judge a lot by what people are watching on the plane. If you sit there and you see, because there's live TV now, right?
Were they watching this particular video that we just?
No, but I was watching the people that were watching CNN, and I was drawing my own conclusions. You mentioned CNN, and I mean, for the most part, the people that I saw, I was like, yeah, figures. Some guy walks on the plane, he's got 2 masks on.
Oh, for God's sake!
He's got a bottle of Purell, and he's
tracks.
lathering everything, and then he gets in his seat and he turns on CNN. I'm like, yeah, that figures.
Is it just me, or is there a proliferation of videos on the internet now of women fighting
Oh, on
in different places.
Yeah, no.
Airplanes, airports,
That's usually Spirit Airlines.
Fast food
grocery
places,
stores.
fast food
yeah,
places.
fast food. I mean, is this an epidemic? Is this? I mean, is this happening with regularity, or are we just seeing it now because of the availability? Everybody has a video camera in their pocket called a cell phone.
I think the latter. I think that just because people have cell phones,
Are these things being staged, or are they real?
Some could be. Although I've seen some fights and they look pretty real. Like you remember when I was attacked at the pancake place. But I've seen I've seen some videos.
I'll be happy to revisit that anytime you want.
I can't. I'm sore right now. I mean, I felt maybe you didn't hear. I almost lost my life today. Had a life.
Well, you're
doing an active service.
You're telling your attacker now that this might be a good time to if he wants to get the upper hand.
It might be, but I doubt it. I mean,
even
here I am.
even at 50%, you could still.
Hey, did you guys see? Did you guys see where the? Did you guys see the post that I put up there when? Because we've been gone. I've been gone. Where the person behind me was flipping me off because they didn't like my hitch cover.
Oh yeah,
was it D-Stone?
I did
it was
see that
not
post.
D-Stone.
Okay.
But his wife started chirping. His wife got on her page and she started chirping. I didn't know the guy.
Was it Josh Kurth?
It was not Josh Kurth.
Is that the one you took a picture of?
Yeah, that's the dude that I took a picture of
in the Lesboro.
Yeah. Because I'm just back from that. So I'm sitting there. I am sitting there turning. Right. I'm at the light at whatever it was at Salem and Bernie and Beachmont, and I'm turning left, and I just happened to glance in my mirror, and the guys behind me just flipping me off, and I just did this. I just started waving. I just waved because I started laughing. I'm like, oh, he must be just a freaking weirdo that hates my bumper stickers. And so I wave, and then I just proceed on. And then as he's passing me on the right, I take my camera out and I take a picture of him. And I'm like, you know what? Knowing me, I'm going to see who this person is. So I shared it, and the liberals all went berserk, and they're like, people believe him. He has no proof. I'm like, yeah, I just drive around, take pictures of people, and make up stories. That's what I do because I have a long history of doing that. It happens every day. I'm like, and I just
that's what the coven says you do.
Well, the coven, you know what? They just need to concentrate on feeding their cats. But the thing is, have you noticed that liberals, like the guy that accosted me, and I'll ask you guys this: how many times have you seen a liberal sticker on
is your
a car?
goal today to make the entire podcast about you?
No, but let me ask you a question. I'm asking you this. Well, I've been gone, so I have time to make up. Let me ask you this: how many times have you been driving and you flipped somebody off because you didn't like a bumper sticker on their car? I'm serious.
Because I didn't like a bumper sticker on their car.
Not they cut you off. Not that they were aggressive driving. You pull up behind them at a light, and they have, I love cats.
I have never.
I think I probably have I think I remember one time I saw someone with a Hillary Clinton
and you flip
bumper sticker, and when I passed them up, I was just like this, driving past.
Okay, so you've done that.
I mean, I didn't do a road rage thing. I mean, I didn't escalate anything.
No, so I've just never done
something like that.
I usually, if I see somebody with the other side sticker, I just laugh and I don't flip them off because whatever. That just shows that
I just follow them. I don't flip them off. I follow them.
You follow them home?
I follow them and see what they do. And it's weird because they usually see me like this with a pair of binoculars. I just like to see what they do.
No,
that's not true. That's not.
I was on Columbia Parkway one day. And we're going down Columbia Parkway, heading, where Allen's is?
Allen's?
No, Allen's, not Allen's.
Allen's?
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's only an hour show, fellas.
But
figure it out.
I see a car in front of me. It's got, on one side, it's got a Hillary sticker. Oh, on the other side, it's got a Tennessee sticker. And I was going to go see a buddy of mine who graduated from the University of Tennessee. And I said I think my wife might have been driving. And I said, this is going to be a huge libtard. I'm going to record some video on this person and drive up to him because a lot of times, and I don't know what it is, but a lot of times you can just look at someone and sort of peg them right away.
Yeah.
So we get there.
You just said pegging.
We get there to the stoplight, and I'm coming up behind. I'm getting a shot of the Tennessee sticker, and then there's the Hillary sticker. And I said my friend's name, and I said, I'm sorry, buddy, this is one of your people. And we pull up next to him, and the person's at the light, and they're like 2 knuckles deep up in their nose, man, just going at it. So that was fun. That was it. But it really wasn't a road rage thing.
No.
It was just one of those.
Those things.
things.
I'm just puzzled. I've never taken time to flip somebody. Now, have I flipped somebody off? Sure, absolutely. If somebody's driving like an idiot, or cuts me off or something like that, whatever. But road rage, it should be frowned upon, because too many people in this country packing heat, and you just don't want something bad to happen. But to Dan's point, there has been a proliferation of videos of people just behaving absolutely abhorrently at restaurants, fast food places, on airplanes, in public places. And I think it's just because everyone now has a way to record it.
There's actually a whole TikTok channel on just Spirit Airline flights. Dude,
have you flown Spirit?
No, I've never.
I have never flown Spirit.
And
I've flown.
And with watching the videos, I don't want to.
Well, I've flown,
but I
something
kind of
like
do.
it.
I just want to be in a way back and just watch.
I had to go to New York for something, and I don't know if it was Frontier. It's kind of like Spirit, and it's people that usually don't fly. I mean, usually when the plane, I put this, when we landed, everyone applauded, and I was like, you don't have to applaud. We're supposed to land. I mean, this is actually supposed to happen.
This is a happy ending.
This is like whatever.
A sentence that years ago that I thought would never come out of my mouth is that flying Allegiant is better than flying Frontier.
I can't disagree.
Can you agree with that?
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. But I had to get to.
I've flown both, and
I had to get to New York quickly and last minutely, and it was cheaply, and it was a direct flight. But I did tell him, I was like, "Did you guys buy these seats at IKEA?" I mean, they were the most uncomfortable airplane seats I've ever sat in my life.
But if you can find, and I may post the TikTok channel. It's actually very humorous to watch. It's
I'm trying to find out if PG Sittenfeld's in jail, and I don't think he is. He's May 24.
I think he's out.
Says release from pending appeal. There's this May 24.
Okay. Well, he's appealing
May 15th.
I know he's done some time, but I think he was initially sentenced to stay
16
locked
months,
up
right,
during the appeal process. But then I think another judge heard it. And
does anyone know if he's in jail? Because I can't find it. So if anyone knows, just text us a deal. Text us in the messages. So what else we got today, gentlemen?
But politically, he's finished anyway. So
I don't know. Is a Democrat ever finished?
Well, in this town, that was the thing. We have Aftab Purval is running for re-election, and now we have a Republican,
yes,
J.D. Vance's brother,
yes,
who is challenging this dude. And so we just had the primary election with, oh my God, what was turnout? 8 or 9%?
It was.
Was it less than maybe 6%?
What did you expect it to be?
About 10%.
Okay,
I think it was less than 10%.
It was less than that. You know why? Because let me ask you this. I'll ask you guys. Issue 2. What was your position on issue 2?
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say that I do not have a good understanding of what issue 2 was about.
Exactly.
It's the way they it's the way they worded it.
Well, it's not only the way they worded it. Yes, Jason's right. It is kind of that, but no one really knew what the hell it was about. So you were hard to take a position on issue 2. So nobody gave a shit one way or the other if it passed or didn't pass.
Well, it has something to do with the way there's a funding process, and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
I will tell you,
I couldn't get too jazzed up about it.
No one could. So that's why your turnout was below 10%. Yeah. And, think of the expense we went to around the state to hold an election. And the only thing on the ballot out here, at least, not in the city of Cincinnati, but out here was issue 2. Yeah. That's it. One issue on the ballot.
But
huge expense.
People across the country were making fun of the low numbers that J.D. Vance's brother got.
Oh,
But my response, and I didn't respond to it because it takes way too long to try to explain it. What do you get on X? 37 characters, whatever it is.
140.
Whatever it is.
Whatever. It's not a lot.
220.
But try to explain, we haven't had a Republican even run in the mayoral election.
Who's the last
in
one?
Cincinnati?
Was it Brad? Who was the last mayor?
I don't know. I think it's been since like 2003 or 4 or something. It's been about 20 years. So just the fact that we got someone who is attempting to step up, who does have some recognition and who will probably, if you listen to this guy speak, if competent people bother to take the time to listen to him speak, then I think his showing is going to be a lot better in the general election.
Well, let's hope so, because he can speak well. He's a good communicator, and he's a competent candidate. The other guy that was running on the Republican side that claimed he was a Republican was a little off the wall.
Yeah,
it was a
PNG guy.
It was Brad Wenstrup in 09.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, I mean, I salute and I appreciate the fact this guy's Bowman, right? He's running, and I'm glad that he's running because, I think it's important that we give choices to the people. Now, does he have a chance? I mean, I don't know. You guys want to place some money on this right now?
No. As far as Corey's chances?
Yeah.
Well, I'll throw money. I mean, we got to figure out how we're going to do it. But
yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
He doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell.
It's going to be a very, very. I mean, what is the demographics of Cincinnati? It's got to be plus what, 20, maybe more than that.
I mean, I hope. I hope he does. But
look at Aftab. Never. I mean, his hair is just perfect.
It's like a helmet.
A lot of product going on.
He's like Darth Vader. He just puts the helmet on, and then like at night he undoes clips, and it's like. Psh, there's a whole bunch of fucking fog that comes out. Then he goes to bed.
Well, you're assuming that he sleeps.
But the thing is, people were trying to make the point that Corey Bowman, who is J.D. Vance's half brother,
right,
is some kind of loser or something, or J.D. Vance doesn't have any yank in this town because his brother I think he got 13% of the vote. But again, those people have no understanding of the political realities
they don't know that
happen in the city of Cincinnati.
They don't know the demographics
and the shit that you see, the shit that you're seeing on social media, and it goes back, and I don't want to go back into the Larry Henderson thing, but you look at the ignorance of people, keyboard warriors that will throw their shit out on Facebook, talking about just the whole situation. Yeah, with Larry and I'm not even going to say dude's name at this point anymore, but that piece of shit. And you have so much divide right now.
Yeah.
And when you look and you read into the comments, the ignorance, because people just don't understand how shit works.
Well, I'll say this. It's hard not to reply.
I get it.
Read the comments. It's
I can't tell you how many times I've typed something, but then I'm like, you know what, delete it.
And you know what really pisses me off as well? Tell me if you guys agree with this. It seems to me, a very impartial, open-minded observer, that on social media, especially CPO, is stirring the pot. It's like every couple of hours there's another story about they're sharing.
You got to drop blood in the water, Andrew.
And I really don't think that's appropriate, especially with groups like, as we mentioned, and you might want to pull the picture up. So if you folks haven't heard, the Black Panthers are planning to come to Cincinnati and have a march. And I'm not going to share the date, but we do have they did a post, and what someone should tell the Black Panthers, and they're going to go march there it is right there. And, race has been interjected into this whole situation. And unfortunately, because I don't think it has anything to do with race. And someone should tell the Black Panthers if they want to be accurate. Now they're going to go, it says they're going to go to the Hamilton County Courthouse. Well, I wish they would go to where, I'm not going to say his name either, but the perpetrator is being housed. That's in Claremont County, and they might get a different welcome in Claremont County than they would in Hamilton County. So if they're really men and they're really big boys, they should go protest outside the Claremont County Jail, which is out here in Claremont County, and I'm sure they'll have a much different reception than they would in downtown Cincinnati.
They'll not be well received.
No, remember the last time there was something kind of like this in Claremont County?
Oh shit, out in Bethel.
Out in Bethel.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying this whole thing, the news every other hour, it seems like some of the news channels bringing up, the family wants an investigation, blah, 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 blah. You know what? there's so much tragedy surrounding this. I think the best statement that I heard, and you guys might agree, was from the young man's the young man that was shot. His grandfather said, "Look, there's a lot of pain on both sides. Let's try to heal." And he actually did call for healing.
Yeah,
and I appreciated his comments.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job.
So let's hope that is I don't know what the Black Panthers' intent. Dan, have you been to a Black Panthers meeting?
I have not.
Okay.
I haven't been invited.
Could you give us a front row report from the thing?
I'm usually like Forrest Gump. I just ruined the Black Panther party.
I'll most likely not be available at the time they're meeting. If they want to send me some information about it, I'll be happy to review it.
Okay.
Be happy to oblige.
Attendance probably not going to happen. I'll be happy to offer them some advice. And, you look at the poorly worded statement they put out shows a lot of ignorance about the situation and exactly what's really happening.
Just like
they seem to be totally unaware of where this guy is being housed.
Well, I love the fact too where it says the Panthers and supporters are going to check on Mr. Hinton's welfare and establish protocols for his security interest. You're not going to do shit. You're going to stand out there with signs.
Again, Claremont County. They're waiting for you there.
They're not going to let you in to just sit there and be like, we got to check. We got to check on him, see how he's doing. That's not going to happen. It's not.
Well, I just don't want this. I don't want another summer of riots and destruction and angst here in Cincinnati. We've gone through that before, and I think we've made a lot of strides. And I just feel like this has this could drag us back down that rabbit hole, and I hope we don't go down it.
I was talking to our friend Dexter Pitts.
Yeah.
After Hassler's graduation, and through text message. And he was like, dude, this is, it's just absolutely nuts. And, it's thrown shockwaves through the law enforcement community close to us. And Dexter's not too far, an hour and a half away or so. But I said, dude, it's right now the climate, like you could cut the tension with a knife. The climate is so hot. And I said, I'm afraid that we're going to go back to Andrew's point to 2001, with the riots that we had. I'm hoping we don't do that because, we have improved, but you have ignorance and so much more social media now than we had then that it just seems like it's just escalating even worse.
I agree. I hope it doesn't. I'm just fearful. I mean, not like I'm afraid. I just think it would be very unfortunate if this incident, which, everything that I've heard is pretty cut and dry. If you have a gun, put it this way, race, black, white, whatever, brown, doesn't matter. Yellow, I don't really care. If you have a gun and a police officer's chasing you and you turn, you're probably going to get shot. Am I right on that, Dan? Your son is a police officer.
You're absolutely right about that. And when you talked about WCPO, where I used to work, by the way, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I have a pretty good idea what the mindset is there because I knew what it was when I worked there. And so if you look at this headline right here, Andrew, this is sort of the sort of thing that you're talking about.
They keep putting stuff. Questions linger. And you know what? As we just discussed, I don't know why it has to be very complicated. It's fact. The kid had a gun. It was a loaded gun with extended magazine. The police officer, had how many, I'm not going to rehash the whole deal, but I just love these people that sit there and put themselves in the officer's mind. And they're like, oh, he could have done this and he could have done that. Man, are you serious? Someone has a loaded freaking gun and turns towards you and you're a police officer yelling for them to drop the gun and stop. What other choice do you have?
Well, and
seriously, I'm not going to make the whole show about it.
Our friend Kenny Cobra, though, he posted a Facebook post today. And I cannot remember the court case filing that they, the case law that they go back on. But it says, and he posted it, it says you don't have to point it. It does not have to be pointed at the officer.
No, but you see it, right? It doesn't have to because the split second.
So the case law that they use, that a lot of judges use, and attorneys use, is there. And he posted, he was like, look, like this is it. So, yeah, I think it's definitely going to come out as it should be a clean shoot. It's unfortunate.
And
We
now-
hate it. We
and
don't
now-
like it.
We don't like it, and no one takes no one takes any joy in the fact that a young man lost his life. But I mean, and then now a hero lost his life. But let me say this, when do we decide that, I know where I stand. I side with the police officers and I give them the benefit of the doubt. I do not think cops are bad. I think they have a hell of a job. And now they're putting a lot of pressure on the Cincinnati police chief to release the name of the officer that was involved. And I think that's horrible. I mean, we have vigilantes coming to town. You release this guy's name. I mean, that's not safe. Am I wrong in that thinking?
No, I mean, given what we know about the people who want to stir the shit, and I apologize to your mother for saying that.
Shit's okay.
But
it's just.
I mean, you talked about it earlier.
Kiefer's mouth.
I mean,
No, you can't say that.
headlines
Not
like
the
this is what helps to stir stuff up and what helps to create false narratives out there that feed on themselves.
And you
whether
mentioned-
or not the truth is out there or not.
You mentioned CNN, right? There's a lot of people that get their news, especially local people that
Yeah.
get their news from this station, and they keep putting these stories out there. Questions linger. Could things have been done differently? You're looking backwards. Okay, vision, hindsight, always 2020. But they're placing this doubt in the public that the police are here to serve and protect us. And I'm sorry, that's not good for society. And,
Well,
and
if you
shame on
remember,
WCPA.
if you remember when we had the riots last time here in Cincinnati, and what really sparked what really touched everything off was a meeting with city council, and we had a local reverend whose name I won't mention, but they went to this city council meeting demanding answers. The investigation was ongoing. There had been no determinations made, but yet they insisted that information was being withheld from the public, and people listened to these so-called leaders who should have known, but these were people who should have known better,
right?
Who could have called for calm, who could have called for, let's wait and see, let the investigation play out, could have called for transparency, but no, they went in demanding answers. And this guy stood up at a city council member and he said, "We're locking the doors. No one's leaving here until we get answers." And that is what touched off the riots.
Yep.
In Cincinnati the last time we had riots. And the Cincinnati police, I think, bared some responsibility at that time because they had a policy at that time not to release any information.
Right.
And so they found out afterwards that releasing the facts, just the bare bones facts of what they could release without endangering the investigation goes a long way into dialing these things down, de-escalating the feelings that are going on in certain communities. And so I think we have that now. The fact that we haven't seen any outbursts or uprisings, we saw some minor demonstrations the day that he came in for the bond hearing, but it really hasn't escalated, beyond that.
Well, I hope these groups coming in don't escalate things, because we've come a long way here in Cincinnati, and those riots were not good for downtown. And I hope that, and let's be fair, downtown has had a rash lately, it seems like, of incidents down there that people don't want to really go downtown. So we don't need anything else. But anyway, I agree.
So we'll see what happens.
I'll put it this way. I'm with the police 100%.
Yep. Shit.
That makes three of us right here.
Cheers. Pappas, I got an announcement.
Oh yeah, I heard
you. A big announcement.
That I think you'll like.
Okay.
You should have made a graphic or something, some sort of
I could have made you a graphic.
Jill,
a musical fanfare or something.
Jill is not pregnant.
Okay.
That is not the major announcement.
Okay. Well, I was guessing.
But she was way more sober than I was last night, but we came to
that's not saying a lot, because I looked at you and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was a good night. But we came up with an idea, and I think we'll see how it goes. Hopefully the podcast will survive this decision.
That's your announcement, that you had an idea?
Shut the fuck up, Dan.
This is first one. It's momentous.
We decided it'd be a great idea for both Jill and I
I know.
to run for school board against each other on the same ticket, or like on the for the same side.
Well, it's a field race.
I know, but it's gonna be a house divided up in this bitch.
So who's gonna seek what endorsement?
I don't know. That's what we have to figure out.
You got to figure.
It's ground level. We're ground level.
Was this
right
decision made last night
Yes.
when I saw you?
Yes.
Great.
My endorsement can be purchased.
My endorsements for sale.
I said how funny, and we were sitting there talking with Girth and talking to a couple other
for
people,
God's
but it
sake.
was funny. I was like, what if we both ran for school board, and how would that work out if one of us got it? Would you be mad if I got it, and would I be mad if you got it?
My money's on her. I think she'd win.
Oh, she totally would.
Yeah, I think
she would
she'd win.
smoke me.
Yeah.
I have too much fucking podcast.
You have
shit
too
out
much
there.
podcast material that the left would be pouring over.
They would be killing it. I would get trolled probably more than you.
I don't know if that's possible.
But we laughed all fucking night long about that. I was like, can you imagine? We went through all the different scenarios.
Hey, let me back on that subject for a second, just not to beat a dead horse. Did I hear that the prosecutor that Pillage is seeking the death penalty?
Yes.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Yeah. So here, hold on, real quick. Oh, that's funny. It's funny you bring that up.
She's reading the room.
It's funny you bring that up.
Well, I mean,
within one car length away or less from the defendant, and 2 videos depicting his path of travel, one of which shows the collision. This evidence and testimony suggests that people were worried about him when he left the police department, having just viewed a video of the death of his son. And he was observed by witnesses and video cameras as he operated his vehicle and drove towards where the police officer was. The evidence suggests that he proceeded eastbound on MLK until Deputy Henderson came into his view. The evidence then shows that he deviated from his eastbound course, pulled into the leftmost turn lane and waited. And before he put his foot on the floor of the car and accelerated in a rapid manner and deliberately ran into the first police officer that he saw with a car that weighed over a ton, causing the death of the officer. We believe that his pause, his consideration, and his deviating outside the yellow lines while driving in the opposite lane of travel demonstrates prior calculation, design, and premeditation in causing the death of Deputy Henderson, who was a law enforcement officer engaged in the course of his duties.
So, I mean, that's pretty much all we need out of that, because that was a 4-minute long video. But yes,
I was surprised.
They are actually seeking it, which I was shocked.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, surprised.
I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this out there. I don't have, to point, I haven't been very impressed with Connie Pillage's performance. That she's chosen initially, the first thing she did was protest a Tesla dealership with other leftists, which I thought was highly irresponsible for a sitting politician to participate in that kind of, sophomoric behavior. She's not a radical anymore. She's an elected official, and she represents all the people of the county. So I'm glad, I guess. I hope I know that's a higher hurdle. And I just hope that justice is swift.
Yeah.
And I hope that the family can have some closure from this whole thing at some point.
Yeah, I think that clip you showed there is pretty instructive, because this was just a bond hearing.
Right.
And typically there is some information that is released, but this was on Tuesday. And I think the amount of detail that they went into there, talking about how they've got video that tracks him all the way from the police station all the way to where the incident occurred, that they talk about how they've got video of all this. They've got conclusive video evidence, and they're laying all this out for the judge. And all this was in order to set a high bond. So if they're laying all this out there, and really only the second time this guy's been in court. So again, this is all just preliminary hearing stuff. For them to lay out this amount of information, it tells me that they have a lot more that is going to make this. I think it's going to be a pretty lead pipe cinch case.
Yeah.
And Clyde Bennett, he's a defense attorney that's been around forever.
I thought he was disbarred.
No, he had some problems years ago. He was taking money from a client and then making deposits of like $9,999, like just under $10,000. Because if you deposit something at that time,
$10,000 it triggered.
it triggered an investigation or a red flag went up.
Yeah.
So apparently he made a series of deposits that were like right under that threshold.
For anybody,
and I know he was involved in that. Now I don't know what the disposition of any of his cases were, but I know he was having some difficulties like that.
In April of this year, 25, he's facing allegations that he lied to a judge and filed misleading documents in a case involving something with drugs. So I didn't know if that case has been, because that's in April, that's not very long ago. So I don't know if I don't know what will happen if he's convicted of that. So, this might impact that. My point is this might impact the case. You know what I mean?
Right.
If he has charges facing him and misconduct charges facing him from April, could be interesting and could make this case even more complicated than it needs to be.
Well, for anybody that's not around Cincinnati, doesn't know who that guy is. He's normally the defense attorney for any of the major cases that come through Hamilton County.
Who's paying him, or is he doing it pro bono?
Oh, he said he's getting paid. I just don't know. It's probably from the GoFundMe's that got shut down.
Well,
because a bunch of them got shut down.
Yeah, they did. And then props to GoFundMe and people were and if you saw the comments online, people were like, yeah, why are they doing that? Why are they shutting it down? Like people like you the people that are ignorant were mad that GoFundMe was shutting that stuff down. And actually I finally because I'm not a big fan of GoFundMe.
I'm not either.
I think there's better platforms out there, but I was happy to see them shut that down.
The letter that the state FOP president for all of Ohio sent to GoFundMe was very poignant. Just saying, look,
and their response back was great.
Yes, they're like, we did not realize, blah 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 blah. But they fixed it. They fixed the issue, kind of, sort of. We'll see, because I mean, there's going to be a lot. This is going to be an ongoing thing.
What else we got on the burner today?
Jason? Dan, you have been, and your son, we've talked about, went to Virginia Tech. Was it Hokie?
Yes, we did.
And you've gotten to have the pleasure of watching a football game there.
I've been to the stadium a few times.
And
big stadium there. I think they can put 60, 65, maybe like 70 SRO.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
So,
what is I'm saying? 7,000 is big time stadium.
Not really. I remember.
What's Paul Brown?
I'm not a Paul Brown.
60.
I'm just talking about colleges.
Like 63.
Okay, fine.
Ohio State's like 100.
Ohio State. I know Ohio State holds more than $100,000. So what?
That's all right.
So
I'm not talking about Ohio
either way.
State.
Are you two done fighting, or do we need to go to therapy after this? But
I don't even know where you went to school. Michigan.
No,
he's an Aggie.
All right, there you go.
He's a fucking Aggie.
Snake bit. I'm an Aggie.
But so what song does the Hokie football team run out to?
They come onto the field with Enter Sandman just blaring.
So
and the place is going crazy.
Yeah. So Metallica played Hokie Stadium or what? Lane Stadium.
Is that I heard about this.
And actually, I didn't know that Virginia Tech had a seismograph on their campus.
Yes.
It registered as an earthquake.
Well, they try this every football game. If they've got a football game, we saw North Carolina, and I forget what we went to another game, but the North Carolina game was almost, it was probably just shy of a stop. But every game when they play Enter Sandman, everybody gets jumping up and down because the seismographs in that area record the shaking of the ground.
So obviously I've seen them jump. Yeah. I mean, I've watched Virginia Tech games. I did not know that they had seismographs.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a thing there.
Metallica, for the first time ever,
they call it Saxville,
played in Lane Stadium. And we
probably sold out.
Got some video, and it's pretty cool.
Let's go!
Hokies.
Let's go!
I can't believe it's the first time they've ever done it. This might get us kicked off YouTube.
Well, oh, because you're playing a song.
Because we're playing it.
But it's their video.
It's on Twitter. We'll let it go. Boris Karloff. Look at that.
It is a great song.
I wanted to grab where everybody was jumping. Obviously, it's not the whole thing, but I don't want to go too far into it. But
because we'll get kicked. There they are.
I thought it was super cool, and knowing that Hassler went there, you've been there, so you've experienced that.
Pretty good tailgate scene.
I mean, how cool is that though? That Metallica went. I'm surprised it took so long.
Yeah,
because that song's been out for like 30 years, 25, 30 years, something like that.
It's been that long.
And it's the first time that they've ever played that stadium and playing that walkout song.
I will say this.
Pretty cool.
I'm giving you shit about the capacity, but from everything I've heard, it's a hell of a tough place to play. Football teams do not like going to play at Virginia Tech. It's a great atmosphere.
So you got to remember when Michael Vick was there, I mean, they were in the running for the national championship.
I remember.
So, the last probably 10 years or so, 15 years. I mean, their football program hasn't been that great, but
you know what?
They're trying to build it back up.
Everything's cyclical. I mean, it all comes in waves, and whatever. I'm giving you shit, but I think that I love college football and the atmosphere. I've heard that Virginia Tech has a great atmosphere.
Oh yeah, it's when you're there, I mean, it's a big time atmospir.
I have no problem with it. And they have great tailgates. Yeah. More power to them.
Before I end on the video that we talked about, we're gonna end on.
Wait.
Are you on the radio Wednesday?
I am not. I am on Thursday.
Okay, so can we do one Wednesday?
Is this against me again?
No. You're free and clear on this one.
Okay.
I'm probably good for Wednesday.
I can't do Wednesday.
All right. Well,
wow.
Dan and I'll go Wednesday.
Wow.
What time Wednesday?
I don't know. We'll figure that out.
I may be back. I don't know. I got to run up. I got to run up and do a round trip really quick.
Wow.
Dude, I got
probably five-ish on Wednesday. We're gonna go.
I mean, I've got
follow the Instagrams, follow the Instagrams and the Facebooks.
Things to do.
Just don't be stupid like the guy we're going to see here in a second.
Yeah, do this. Do this.
Why do people do this
like
anyway?
Falling off a ladder.
No, this is almost as bad. Watch the right. Keep your eye on the right foot. His right foot. Keep your eye on his right foot.
I don't even know if I'm fucking trying to do.
He's being a dumbass, but he gets a little too cocky here. Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Oh, let's watch it again. That's gross, but I want to watch it again.
So
I'm watching on the screen.
He's got his ankle getting mangled, and then the face plant. That's a full force face plant right there.
Oh, dude, that's so gross.
That's losing teeth kind of stuff right there.
So you're falling off a roof don't mean shit right now.
Wait, let me ask you a question.
That's our public service announcement to you. Don't be a dumbass.
Did he get up and
like
catch his truck?
Who knows? I don't know what the girl on the truck was doing. What the hell was she doing?
And before
was it even a real person?
And before we sign off, we're gonna we're gonna talk about our friend Murph.
Oh, we got to do that. Hi everyone, Dan Carroll here. Time to tell you about a great new sponsor for the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. It's Murphy Engraving. Murphy Engraving is the place to go for your business, industrial, and personal engraving needs. Take a look at the Murphy Engraving page on Facebook, and you're going to see all kinds of unique items that really seem to take on a life of their own because they've been customized with an image, a name, or a logo, and all of it just really beautifully done. The acrylic sports awards that light up are especially creative and very cool. The customized bottles of bourbon, those are my personal favorite. And wait till you see what they can do with items that are made out of wood. The next time you want to recognize someone special or you're looking for that one-of-a-kind gift, you'll be glad you checked out Murphy Engraving. And a bonus, you're supporting a local family-owned business run by brothers Brian and Kevin, who is a lifetime firefighter and Air Force vet. At Murphy Engraving, they turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, and at Murphy Engraving, we are American-made.
What a great produced commercial.
What a
nice work.
Greatly produced.
Team effort right there.
I mean, I really had to say it. That was a greatly produced commercial.
So we'll send out a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
We appreciate you.
and those that identify as mothers,
And hopefully you don't have any kids as dumb as that guy we just
and
showed.
some guys
Exactly.
that qualify as mothers. So to everybody that's a mother, happy Mother's
A
Day.
guy that qualifies as a mother.
And
Well,
we
you
will
know,
see you
some
guys,
guys and you're like,
Wednesday,
you're a real mother.
5 p.m.